What if the greatest battle you ever fought was against yourself? In The Empire Strikes Back, the cave on Dagobah becomes a place where Luke Skywalker faces his deepest fears and doubts. Before Luke enters the cave, Yoda advises him that he won't need his weapons. This advice reflects a core Jedi philosophy. True power comes not from external tools like lightsabers, but from inner peace and mastery over oneself. However, Luke decides to bring his lightsaber anyway, revealing his fear and lack of trust in his own abilities. Luke's decision to carry the weapon is significant because it highlights a common human reaction. In moments of uncertainty, we often cling to what is familiar, even if it doesn't serve us. By bringing his lightsaber, Luke unknowingly shapes what he will face in the cave. For Luke, the lightsaber offers a false sense of security, something tangible he believes will protect him in the unknown. His dependence on external power shows his immaturity as a Jedi and, on a deeper level, his struggle with personal fears and doubts. The concept of the threshold is key to understanding the cave on Dagobah. A threshold represents a transitional space between the known and the unknown, where usual rules and identities are suspended. In many mythologies, heroes must cross such thresholds to confront their deepest fears and discover something new about themselves. The cave on Dagobah is exactly that, a place where Luke faces the raw, unfiltered reality of his inner world. This idea of the threshold also ties into the concept of rites of passage, experiences that mark the transition from one stage of life to another. For Luke, the cave serves as a rite of passage, a pivotal moment that will determine if he can transcend his current limitations and become the Jedi he is meant to be. As Luke enters, he stands at the boundary of change, caught between the past and the future. The cave is a space where those two worlds converge. When Luke faces the vision of Darth Vader in the cave, he's confronted with a harsh truth. His biggest enemy isn't Vader, but the darkness within himself. The revelation that the figure he strikes down is not just Vader, but his own face hidden beneath the mask, is a powerful moment of self-discovery. This mirrors Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self, the parts of our personality that we repress or deny. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is not inherently evil. Instead, it consists of the qualities we suppress because they conflict with our idealized self-image or societal expectations. Jung argued that personal growth requires integrating the shadow. Luke's vision of Vader in the cave represents a direct confrontation with his own shadow. When Vader's mask cracks open to reveal Luke's face, it symbolizes Luke facing the parts of himself he refuses to acknowledge. The lesson Luke learns in the cave is rooted in this psychological truth. By confronting the vision of Vader, Luke is forced to reckon with the shadow aspects of his psyche. Jung believed that if we fail to integrate these darker parts of ourselves, they don't disappear. Instead, they subtly influence our actions and can surface in moments of crisis. In Luke's case, his instinct to strike out at the vision of Vader reflects his refusal to fully integrate his shadow. He perceives the vision as an external threat, when it is actually a reflection of his inner turmoil and the potential for darkness within him. Luke's instinct to strike Vader with his lightsaber shows that he's still clinging to the illusion of control. He believes that by confronting and defeating this manifestation of his fears, he can solve the problem. But the Jedi path isn't about control. It's about surrender. The Jedi understand that true power doesn't come from domination. It comes from understanding balance and trust in the Force. This moment in the cave mirrors Luke's eventual confrontation with Vader on Bespin. In both cases, Luke is the one who ignites his lightsaber first, signaling his fear-driven instinct to attack rather than seek balance. The cave vision, therefore, foreshadows the way Luke will initially approach conflict throughout his journey, with aggression and a need to assert control. The struggle for control is a central theme throughout Star Wars. The Sith seek to dominate and control the Force, while the Jedi embrace surrender, harmony, and balance. The vision in the cave shows Luke that his destiny isn't fixed. His identity isn't set in stone. The real lesson here is that identity is shaped by the choices we make, not by bloodlines or preordained fate. Luke's failure in the cave isn't the end. It's actually a crucial step on his journey to deeper understanding. His failure stems from his immaturity, his struggle to fully let go of fear and attachment to control. What he doesn't realize in that moment is that failure is a necessary part of growth. Luke's journey is about learning humility, patience, and self-awareness. The lessons from the cave are what prepare him for the challenges ahead, his eventual confrontation with Darth Vader, the dark side, and the ultimate choice he'll have to make. Failure isn't defeat. It's part of the process of becoming. Luke won't succeed every time, but through his failures, he'll grow. He'll become wiser, more patient, and more in tune with the Force. Luke's decision to spare Vader in Return of the Jedi is the result of everything he learned in the cave. This act of mercy shows how far he's come. By choosing compassion over violence, Luke resists the same dark impulses that once controlled his father. In sparing Vader, he rejects the path that led Anakin to the dark side. When Luke looks at his hand after defeating Vader, he's reminded of the vision in the cave, the temptation to become like his father. Instead of giving in to fear and anger, Luke chooses his higher self. This is a turning point in his journey. He doesn't defeat Vader, he defeats his own shadow. Luke rises above his darker impulses, showing that true power isn't in force, but in compassion. By facing his darkness, Luke shows that growth and true power come from self-acceptance and the courage to choose a different path.